Every banned player in the NBA, we're finna rank the reasons for their bans, okay? Simple ranking, S-A, mid, C, and D.
O.J. Mayo. His story in the NBA didn't end with a quiet fade into retirement. It was a sudden, sharp drop. Back in July of 2016, the league dropped the hammer, announcing he was disqualified for violating the NBA and NBPA's anti-drug rules. This wasn't your average suspension either. He got slapped with a 2-year ban. That meant no roster, no contract, no chance to step onto the court until at least July 1st, 2018. Before this, he'd already been suspended in 2011 for testing positive for a performance enhancer. Something he said came from a random energy drink. At the time of his ban, he wasn't even under contract. His deal with Milwaukee had ended after a season where he broke his ankle, tripping on stairs of all things. That year wasn't great anyway. He only played in 41 games and averaged under 8 points per game. When the news broke, it was a massive deal. This wasn't just a PED violation, it was a positive test for a drug of abuse. That list includes stuff like cocaine and heroin, the NBA...
Boy, what the fuck? Nigga, coke and heroin? I thought it was just some weed this nigga got kicked out the NBA for. You was doing what?
A doesn't reveal which drug it was, but Mayo later said it was a prescription painkiller. In an interview, he admitted to messing up and said it was the pills that triggered the ban. He denied using cocaine, and even though he'd smoked marijuana before, he didn't blame that for what happened. The league takes this kind of thing seriously. A positive test for one of those specific drugs can lead to automatic dismissal, even if it's a first-time offense. And that's exactly what happened here. Mayo's life after the ban took a major hit. He lost out on potential contracts, even $30 to $40 million in earning. That's a massive number for someone at 28, especially when his career was already trending down. The action was a mix of support and shock. Some of his former teammates backed him on social media, while others were just stunned. Meanwhile, Mayo was trying to regroup. He said he hit rock bottom and avoided watching NBA games because it reminded him of what he lost. He was eligible to apply for reinstatement after those 2 years, but the process isn't easy. The NBA and NBPA have full control over it, and they don't hand out second chances like candy. Mayo reportedly applied in 2018 and got reinstated, but no team picked him up. Since then, he's been bouncing around overseas.
Because of that, we got to put this at absolute S. That's a bag fumble game. That's crazy twice.
In places like China, Taiwan, Puerto Rico, and Egypt. At 36, his NBA return chances are about as slim.
At least he went overseas, though. Them overseas players, I don't know if it's kept, but I seen something the other day that said Russell Westbrook got offered $155 million overseas.
As a toothpick at a buffet. Jonte Porter.
Hell no. We know about him, y'all. We know about him.
And that dropped like an anvil, and for good reason. Back in March 2024, the NBA started sniffing around some fishy betting activity tied to Porter's performance. He was pulled from a game that night, and by April 17th, it was official. He was out for life. That's right, the league hit him with a lifetime ban for violating gambling rules. Turns out, he shared confidential health info with known bettors and pulled himself early from games, so those bets could hit. Not exactly the blueprint for a long career. The NBA's investigation showed he tipped off a bettor before a March game, and that guy tried to cash in with an $80,000 parlay that would have scored over $1 million. That payout got...
Oh yeah, AD.
The nigga threw his career away for $900,000. How much was his contract? But what don't make sense to me is Jonte Porter. I ain't gonna lie, I gotta move them OJ Mayo one down. It's getting moved down right here, and I gotta put Porter one at edge. Ain't his brother on like $150 million contract, nigga, for all that? If you're not getting paid enough by the league, just, start cleaning up at your little bro house, a big bro, whatever the fuck he is, nigga. Just start sweeping. See if he'll throw you a bone or something, nigga. Jonte Porter, NBA contract. What was his contract? Oh, okay. This makes sense, chat. It makes sense. See, they ain't tell us the full story. He was in that bit playing for doctor money. Now, $500K to us. Wait, let me see. I think it was a two-way contract. He was on a two-way contract for $500,000. See, $500K in our mind, like regular niggas, that's a lot of money. But NBA-wise, I could see why he was trying to motherfucking glitch shit. Man, that's still stupid as hell, gang. For $900 bands, what does your brother contract look like? Ain't all three of them in the league? That's max value, not minimum. Also, he really wasn't making shit. And he was in Toronto, too. Oh, yeah, nigga might have been in the 1x1 somewhere fucked up. That's why he putting in them. Whoa! But come on, gang. Even if you fucked up, you call your brother and tell him something. Like, you getting $179 million. You in butt-fuck Denver. It can't be as expensive as Toronto. Also on top of that, gang, come on, bro. Let's just be real. Let me hold a little something.
Porter also dipped out early in a January game, citing an eye issue. Both games had suspicious betting spikes on the under for his stats. Then it got worse. Porter placed at least 13 bets on NBA games himself while under contract. He even bet against the Raptors 3 times. None of those bets in
That nigga bet against his whole team, bro? On some snakes in the grass type shit, guy. He just like me. Sometimes I'll be mad I ain't make it to the motherfucking to D1 or NBA or NFL or anywhere pro where they could bet on me. I would have just been, I would have been fucking my shit up too. I ain't gonna cap. I would have got
involved games he played, but the league doesn't care. He broke the rule. Fast forward to July 3rd, and federal prosecutors stepped in. By July 10th, Porter pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud. That one could land him and play basketball in Greece while awaiting sentencing. The judge said nope. At the time of the ban, he was 24 and averaging 4.4 points, 3.2 rebounds, and 2.3 assists across 26 games. The Raptors backed the league's decision, saying they supported the process. The National Basketball Players Association chimed in too, basically saying that players need more help understanding the sports betting rules. On social media, the reaction was explosive. You had insiders, fans, and former players lighting up the timeline. As for reinstatement,
what MPJ
forget
say?
it. The NBA's rules on gambling bans are pretty clear, final and unappealable. That means there's no shot at a comeback. This isn't like a drug-related suspension. Once you're out for gambling, you stay out. Porter's still banned as of April 24, 20.
Yeah, Jonte, your best bet is go catch them rebounds for your little big bro, little bro, wherever the fuck MPJ is to you, nigga. Go catch them hoes off the rim. Stay up with him late night and shit. You know, he might throw you. You can still make a living, bro. Now you just gotta be useful to your brother, guy. That's the only
2025.
option.
Even
It'll
his
be
shot
alright.
to play overseas was blocked by a judge. The damage is deep. He was a fringe player already, and now the only court he'll be seeing for a while might have a judge in it. All this came from leaked health info, a gambling addiction, and a handful of bets that backfired spectacularly. By the way, if you guys want to subscribe, I'm going to start posting every day. The wording was clear. Dismissed. When the NBA banned him in May of posting every day. Thanks. Anyways, Tyreek Evans. When the NBA banned him in May of 2019, the wording was clear. Dismissed and disqualified. That meant he wasn't coming back anytime soon. He was out for at least 2 years, and nobody knew what came next. The violation? A positive test for a drug of abuse. The NBA didn't say which one, because under the league's policy, they're not allowed to. But it was serious enough to trigger the automatic.
Okay, it can't be liquor. Nigga, come on now. LeBron got, you know what I'm saying? We know Bron be sipping. Now, that's Bron. He'll never get banned, even if he was doing black tar. But it can't be liquor. It can't be weed. So it's either the nigga was doing coke or pills. What y'all think?
2-year suspension. Not the kind of slap on the wrist you get with the...
You know what? Nigga like this, no bullshit, I bet on it being that motherfucking syrup. He was probably sipping. Tyreek Evans, that sound like a nigga that double cup.
Performance enhancer. At the time, Evans was a free agent. He just finished the season with Indiana, putting up a solid 10 points a night across 69 games.
Damn, so that's decent too.
Didn't void a deal, but it erased any chance of signing one. Teams weren't going to touch him until the ban ran its course. He didn't make a public statement. No damage control tour. No long sit-down interviews. Just gone. Fast forward to February of 2022. The NBA let him back in. That meant he met all the criteria, completed rehab, passed his drug test, and proved to the league he was ready. A week later, he joined the Wisconsin Herd, the Bucks G League squad. He played 9 games and averaged 15 points. Solid. Milwaukee called him up on a 10-day deal in March. He got 5 minutes in a single game and scored 2 points. And that was it. No new contract, just a blip. Later that year, Evans signed with Indiana again, but they waived him before the season started. He hasn't appeared in an NBA game since April of 2019. As of April 24, 2025, he's 35 and still not back in the league. He's been active, playing in other leagues, open runs, workout showcases. Still trying. His band stands out for how quiet it was. No legal issues.
Nigga, career's over? Okay. I don't think this one's that bad though, cause it sounded like his career he was already pushing 30. Yeah. Okay, 1 year 12 million, 1 year 3 million, 4 year 44 million. Yeah, the nigga good. Never mind. 2009, 2012. As long as he put that shit up, come on, man, he's straight. That one not that bad. I'm gonna put the Tyreek Evans one. You know what I'm saying? Just Lil Royds. He got caught doing some roids.
Scandal. No social media service, just a drug violation, a quiet exit, and a short-lived return. He didn't have any prior NBA drug suspensions. The league didn't report anything from before. He did have some earlier stuff. A reckless driving citation in 2010 and a one-game team suspension in 2016 for missing practice and a flight. Nothing major. Injuries slowed him too, especially that knee surgery in 2016 that kept him out for a whole season. He was Rookie of the Year in 2010, one of just a handful of rookies to average over 20 points, 5 boards, and 5 assists. It looked like the start of something big. The band didn't
Oh, he played for the Kings. That's why I'm thinking in my head why I don't remember this shit. I was like 7 or some shit at the time, but he played for the Kings. Yo, the Kings in 2010? Who's on the Kings in 2010?
end his story, but it froze a career that had already been slipping. Richard Duma. Before he ever touched an NBA court, the league had already shown him the door. Back in
what? He got banned before
October of
doing
1991.
what? Yo, guess on what he had to have done to get banned before you even touch an NBA court. A crackhead?
Just ahead of what was supposed to be his rookie season, the NBA suspended him indefinitely for violating the anti-drug policy. He was a second-round pick for Phoenix, but instead of suiting up for them, he ended up in Israel, dropping 21 points a night for Hapoel Holon. So his debut.
Well, I'd be sick as hell. For who? Hapoel Holon? Huh, nigga? From Phoenix Suns to what? At least he went pro, but bro, what the fuck, nigga? I'll be all types of fucked up. I'm telling you, second round of a nigga doing drugs is nutty though, gang. You gotta be one of them top 3 niggas, you know what I'm saying? You gotta be one of them top 3, top 5 picks to be back there snorting a little something or popping some pills. Maybe then they'll keep it on the down low. Like that one nigga that got banned from the NBA. I don't know if we're gonna talk about him here. Y'all know the nigga that they said he was walking into the training room and just whipping his meat out. But I think he went in the first round, like top 10. That's why like they try to keep it under the tuck for a minute. Second round, they not giving you that type of benefit of the doubt, boy.
Debut got
that nigga, yeah. I don't know how high up I think he had to have been like top 15 picks. Cause they said they waited until the 9th time of him whipping his meat out. Yeah, that nigga Josh Primo, nigga. They waited till the 9th time he did that shit to finally call it quits. Like, damn, nigga, 9 times? What? We saw something in you. Try to get that nigga chance after chance after chance. He just keep pulling out meat after meat after meat, nigga. Just, man, boy, I never learned. Reckless with that dick.
Postponed until December of 1992. And when he finally hit the court, he looked like a breakout star. But then came strike 2. By September of 1993, he'd violated his rehab program. The league sent him off to treatment again, and Phoenix made it clear he wasn't part of their plans anymore. Rumors about a trade for Dennis Rodman? Gone. Duma returned the next season but barely made a dent. 15 games, and then another failed test. Still, the Sixers gave him one more shot in 1995. He lasted 39 games before he violated a contract clause banning alcohol. That was strike 3. This time,
oh yeah, AD.
This nigga Frank Gallagher. He an NBA version of Frank, gang. You'll never learn. How many times is you gonna get drunk, gang?
it wasn't drugs, it was beer. He later said he drank a 6-pack before games to manage his bipolar depression and social anxiety. Coach John Lucas moved his test to 4 p.m. to catch him, and it worked. The result? A permanent ban from the NBA at just 26. Dumas never applied for reinstatement. He didn't want to deal with the league anymore. He played in Greece, Poland, and a few minor leagues, back home until he retired in 2003. His final NBA line? 102 games, 10.6 points per game, and a career that burned bright. In 2013, things got worse. He was arrested for stealing around $800 worth of goods while working at a military base. He got
oh my god, this nigga real life Frank Gallagher. Bro, this not funny though, like that ass. This is sad. This somebody with an addiction. You know what I'm saying? Like this shit fucked up, bro. Damn. And he was hooping to 100 games, averaging 10 points. They like Scottie Pippen numbers, ain't it? I seen Scottie Pippen. He living his best life. He running around choking niggas, telling them, well, you don't know what I do to you. That rich nigga talk. He done bypass pussy. Now he wants some boy butt. But now that's besides the point. We getting sidetracked. But you know that's that rich nigga lifestyle that them NBA players from back in the day be living. From that to that could have been Dumas, man.
3 years probation, but through it all, he stayed connected.
What's up,
in 2023, he showed up to the Suns reunion, celebrating that finals run from 1993. The same season where he averaged nearly 16 points and helped Phoenix push the Bulls to 6 games.
What? The nigga beat my MJ? Bro, you telling me niggas was drinking 6 packs before the game? Let's just be real. Y'all was drinking 6 packs before the game and still coming out there being able to hold MJ? You see where I'm going with this? All I'm saying is nigga drink a 6-pack and go out there and think he finna lock down Steph Curry. Do you think it's gonna work? If you take a 6-pack and think you finna stand in front of Kyrie Irving, you think it's gonna work nowadays? Am I tweaking? Somebody gotta explain this shit to me. You take a 6-pack and think you finna stand in front of 6'8", all meat, lean, LeBron James, running up and down the court, 4 flat. He doing super athletic. You know, LeBron one of them niggas you can look at him and be like, oh yeah, I can tell. Yo, family history is it's a good amount of slaves, gang. Cause he just like, nigga, you know what I'm saying? You see, like you gotta understand, it's like some third eye shit. He just like, he's so athletically he got it, nigga. He got it.
Duma was open later on about his mental health, diagnosed with bipolar depression and anxiety. He self-medicated with alcohol from his teenage years, add in marijuana and crack use in high school, and you start to see how deep his struggle.
What? He was doing what in high school? Nigga, white girl, crack? It ain't no explaining that shit to me. Damn, bro, that nigga was going through it. He was in high school. That's the crack ages. But I ain't know, like, bro. So, like, was niggas doing crack the same way weed is, like, being done? I probably would have did crack if I was in the 80s, gang. I ain't gonna cap. The way they be making crack sound.
Ran. He's the son of Rich Dumas, an ABA player, and came out of Tulsa with huge. What happened to him wasn't about talent. It was about demons he couldn't shake. Chris Anderson. The NBA tossed him out in...
Okay, I didn't even know Birdman got kicked out, bro. Because he was there whenever LeBron won the championship, right? 2016?
January of 2006, calling it a dismissal and disqualification for violating the league's anti-drug policy. It wasn't your standard suspension. This was a full-on 2-year exile. The violation, a drug of abuse, which in league terms could mean anything from cocaine to LSD, but the NBA never disclosed what it was, and neither did Anderson. That's how the policy works. Tight-lipped.
Yeah, but Birdman looked like the type to do shit like that. Like if I heard crack from, I wouldn't even raise an eyebrow. Like crack, shrooms, LSD, acid, like you know what I'm saying?
And no details. At the time, he was 2 years into a 3-year deal with Denver, worth over $10 million. When the ban hit, he lost the rest of it, about $7 million down the drain. Anderson was 27 and playing a decent role for the Nuggets, putting up 5 points, 5 boards, and over 1.5 blocks per game. Not a star, but definitely not disposable. Still, the ban shut the door. He missed all of the 2006 and 2007 seasons. Then came the climb back. Anderson was eligible for reinstatement on January 27, 2008, and he got it. The league let him back in, and he signed with the Hornets 2 days later. His return was quiet, 5 games that season, but it got the wheels turning. In July, Denver brought him back. The crowd loved him. The dunks, the tattoos, the energy. Birdman was back in flight. From there, he turned the whole narrative around. He became a defensive anchor off the bench, flying in for blocks and rebounds. He had a strong second act in Denver, then hit the jackpot in Miami. In 2013, he helped the Heat win a championship, contributing to solid minutes. That's what I'm talking about. He stuck with them for a few more years, played for Memphis and Cleveland, and even gave the...
Nigga, that's a real rehab, crack junkie comeback story right there. Matter of fact, let's move this around. D, all the way down here like dumb as shit. C, okay, that makes sense. And put him all the way up here at S. What the fuck is that cut? Bro, his name Bird. Like, look at the nigga. It fit him, bro. You gotta understand, like, he white boy, crazy white boy type vibes, gang. It's a mohawk.
His career ended with 695 games, 5.4 points, 5 rebounds, and 1.4 blocks a night. Not bad for a guy who was once completely tossed out of the league. Post-retirement, he stayed around basketball, making appearances and sharing his story of recovery. He never said what drug got him banned, and nobody's confirmed it officially, but it didn't matter in the end. What mattered was the comeback. He beat the odds. No legal trouble, no lifetime mark, just a 2-year pause and a whole lot of determination.
Alright, come on, next nigga.
in the middle of a firestorm. TMZ dropped an audio recording of Sterling, then the owner of the Los Angeles Clippers, spewing racist nonsense to his mistress. Among the gems, he told her not to bring black people to Clippers games and complained about her social media posts featuring black celebrities.
I look at bitches like this and I think they real life succubuses. Cause you know how, bro, you know how hungry for some money you gotta be to take the white, just look at the nigga face. He ugly as shit. Old white guy. Probably got erectile dysfunction. Motherfucker all limpy and shit like that. You know how much of a bad getter you gotta be to lay down with this bullshit in bed. Look at it and call them all types of names. I can't role play that shit. Not today. I can't do it again.
Yes, that actually happened. 4 days later, Commissioner Adam Silver made it very clear. Sterling was done. Banned for life. Fined $2.5 million. Silver
that shit ain't nothing.
also pushed for the league's board of governors to force the sale of the Clippers, and they were ready. But before the vote happened, Sterling's wife Shelley stepped in, cut a deal with the league, and sold the team to former Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer for $2 billion.
Oh my God, the nigga still took a W, gang.
A California court approved the deal in August, and just like that, Donald Sterling's 33-year reign as owner was over. The ban itself was based on conduct deemed detrimental.
So wait, you gotta think about it. So if he ain't like niggas, but he had nothing but niggas on the team, how y'all think he was talking about them niggas at home, gang? Huh? But that's some crazy shit. He don't like niggas, but he don't got nothing but high flying, air gliding, niggas on the squad, gang.
Broadcast that you're associating with black people. You have to. You could sleep with them, you could bring them in, you could do whatever you want. The little I ask you is not to promote it on that and not to bring them to my games.
Sterling, whose wife is in a court battle with the girlfriend, has not denied that's his voice.
Oh, her little bitch, she wanted black dick. Oh, that makes sense. You got to think about it. He's 91, so at the time, he like 80-something. You know, let's just be real. Like I said, erectile dysfunction, white boy, fat guy, big tummy, little meat. You know how that shit go, gang. His shit probably like a little pecker. She don't feel nothing. She just lying to a nigga. Little french fry dick. That ain't enough for her. So she running off and probably going to a locker room, catching them niggas whenever they get on the bus, giving them her phone number, coming back to the room, and taking that drive shaft. That's probably what happened. So him, you know, he at home, he thinking about it late night, embarrassed and shit like that, and then boom. So yeah, that probably a quick little rundown. Probably a quick little rundown of what happened, yeah, if I had to guess. Crack. Nigga couldn't blame me on AI yet? You talking about way back then? Yeah, nowadays you can say that bitch AI.
Mental to the best interests of basketball.
Right.
That phrase came straight from the NBA Constitution. The league ran an investigation, confirmed the voice on the recording was Sterling, and verified that the quotes were real. The man didn't deny a thing. Unlike bans for players, there's no set reinstatement process for owners.
Now wait till
Sterling
they get
wasn't
Jerry
suspended
Jones.
for drugs or
Ooh,
gambling.
wait till they get Jerry Jones. I swear, Jerry Jones, man. I know for a fact every time Dak throw a pick six, Jerry Jones, he throw the ER out. I know it. I know it, nigga. He do the combo and everything. Igor boy. That Igor boy done did it again. Fuck, man. Fucking nigger.
He was exiled for racist behavior that publicly embarrassed the entire league. So when they said lifetime ban, they meant it. And since 2014, he hasn't been seen anywhere near NBA business. Now, even though he got banned, let's not pretend Sterling walked away broke. He bought the team for $12.5 million back in 1981. He sold it for $2 billion. That's a gigantic.
Yo, gang, bro. Yo, he bought that bitch for $12 million, sold it for $2 billion. In his head, he basically just, you know what I'm saying? Bought it for $12 million. Chris Paul and them, that's his little slaves. They work in the plantation, which is the basketball court from. And he ran up $2 billion and left. Shit sick, gang. Shit sick as hell. It is what it is, though.
Return, even for a guy known for being cheap with players.
Yo,
and
is there
staff.
any
Of
black
course,
NBA
he
owners?
tried to sue the league for $1 billion, claiming his rights were violated. That lawsuit was tossed in 2016, and he had to pay nearly $5 million. Was swift. Players, coaches, and even President
he do own the Hornets. I'm tripping.
Obama called him out. Clippers players turned their warm-up jerseys inside out in protest before a playoff game. LeBron James, Chris Paul, and Doc Rivers were all vocal. Civil rights groups pulled awards they had planned to give him. The damage to his reputation was permanent. Since the ban, Sterling's kept a low profile. He's been focused on real estate and hasn't made any moves to get back into.
Did they flip their jersey inside out? What the fuck? What does this achieve? I don't get it, bro. Niggas just doing shit. Like, they just doing shit at this point. What was the point of this? It still say Clippers on the motherfucking pants and the jersey, gang. You still working for the white man? What did they think they was getting across?
Rewards they had planned to give him. The damage to his reputation was permanent. Since the ban, Sterling's kept a low profile. He's been focused on real estate and hasn't made any moves to get back into basketball. At 90 years old, it's safe to say the NBA chapter is closed for good. Connie Hawkins. Back in 1961, the NBA shut the door on a 19-year-old phenom before he ever had the chance to walk through it. He had just wrapped his freshman season at Iowa, could not even play varsity due to NCAA rules when his name got dragged into a point shaving scandal. Hawkins was not charged, not arrested, nothing. But because he had taken a $200 loan from a known gambler, Jack Molinas, the NBA treated him like a full-blown criminal. The league did not hold a hearing, did not present evidence, just labeled him a risk and banned him indefinitely. The Minneapolis Lakers had drafted him, but that meant nothing. Once the NBA decided, he was bad for business. From age 19 to 27, those prime years of most athletes' careers, Hawkins was on the outside looking in. He played in the American Basketball League with the Pittsburgh Wrens and won Most Valuable Player. That league folded. He toured with the Harlem Globetrotters, showing off his unreal athleticism to crowds worldwide, but it was not real competition. Then came the American Basketball Association, where he dominated Most Valuable Player and Champion with the Pittsburgh Pipers in 1968, but still no NBA. In 1966, Hawkins sued the NBA for $6 million, calling the ban what it was, unfair and baseless. The league settled in 1969, gave him $1.3 million, and finally lifted the ban. He
Damn, that nigga, hold on.
Signed with the Phoenix Suns and averaged 24.6
God damn, boy.
points, 10.4 rebounds, and 4.8 assists per game in his rookie season. He made 4 straight All-Star teams and was second in Most Valuable Player voting.
What, 24, 10, and 5? Wait, 5 steals per game? Something was going on, bro. I'm like, I don't want to discredit these niggas, but something was going on. Something, gang. It's something that we don't know about.
The ban had cost him years and a chance.
And congratulations, nigga. I'm happy you made it back, bro. I don't finna say. For $200, they damn near wanted to kick that nigga out. And then now motherfuckers, imagine him, man. Niggas like him probably sick as hell whenever they see like Shador Sanders, NIL, dude in college with a Uris, a Cullinan, diamond chain, bust down AP.
Roy Tarpley. This guy had the kind of basketball talent that usually leads to a long career in highlight reels that get recycled every summer. But instead of becoming an NBA staple, Tarpley ended up banned for life after a mess of off-court problems that just never stopped snowballing. It all kicked off in October of 1989 when he got suspended indefinitely for testing positive for cocaine. That was strike one. He didn't play a single game that season. At the time, he was fresh off a breakout year, averaging over 17 points and nearly 12 boards. He looked like he was on the verge of stardom. Then came strike two. In October of 1991, Tarpley got nailed for driving while intoxicated and resisting arrest in Texas. That violated the NBA's aftercare program. He was already in from the first suspension. The league didn't play around. He was banned indefinitely. Crack was like drinking water. Just 2 years after the first incident. He was eventually reinstated in December that same year, played 34 games, but clearly wasn't the same force. Strike three came in November of 1994. Tarpley drank alcohol, which broke his aftercare terms again. That was the final straw. The NBA handed down a lifetime ban, which meant no more games, no more contracts, and no more second chances in the league, at least not until he could apply for reinstatement in 2 years. He did apply in January of 1997, but the NBA said no. His off-court troubles, including another DWI arrest in 1996, sealed that rejection. In 1999, he tried to sue the league and the Mavericks for $6 million, arguing his addiction was a disability. That went nowhere. By the time the NBA reinstated him in 2009, he was 44 and way past playing shape. He never signed with another team. He died in 2011 from liver failure, ending a life that had been packed with rehab stints, legal trouble, and missed chances. Financially, the guy lost out on millions. His contract with Dallas was worth $20 million over 6 years, and the ban ripped away $14 million of that. He made good money overseas. over $3 million for a 2-year stint in Greece. But it wasn't the same as being in the league. The defense never got to see his full potential. He'd been drafted 7th overall in 1986, had one.
Damn, bro.
Chris Washburn. His NBA career basically came.
Y'all see it too? Is this not Draymond Green reincarnated?
With a ticking clock from day one, picked 3rd overall in 1986 by the Warriors, expectations were sky high, but his time in the league was more famous for the bands than the buckets. In January of 1987, Washburn got slapped with a 3-game suspension for violating the league's substance abuse policy. That was strike 1. And yeah, 3 games isn't much, but it was the red flag waving in everybody's face. He was still a rookie, averaging under 4 points and 3 boards, so the timing couldn't have been worse. That summer, he checked into rehab and ended up missing the beginning of the next season. Fast forward to November of 1988, and Washburn, now with the Hawks, was suspended again. Strike 2. The NBA kept the details quiet, but it was another substance violation, and it meant things were clearly going downhill. By the end of that season, he had barely played and was showing up more on transaction reports than scoreboards. Then came the hammer. June 26th, 1989, Washburn tested positive for cocaine and was banned for life. That was strike 3. Under the league's rules, 3 violations meant the door was slammed shut. He could have applied for reinstatement after 2 years, but he never did. Probably because between 1990 and the...
So all I'm taking from this, bro, MJ was playing against cokeheads, gang. Like, you think these the only niggas doing coke? These only the ones that got caught for doing the coke and getting drunk and shit like that.
Mid-90s, he was bouncing around minor leagues and overseas gigs. From Colombia,
MJ probably did coke. I don't want to put that on MJ.
Meanwhile, off the
what do cocaine do though?
His legal troubles started piling up. In 1996, he got arrested for having a stolen gun. Then in 2000, it was theft and breaking and entering. More of the same. 2005, larceny and another stint behind bars. Financially, it was a wipeout. He had a rookie contract with about $2.7 million over 4 years, but the band cut it short and his overseas paychecks were nowhere near NBA money. He lost millions and earned the unfortunate tag of one of the biggest busts in draft history. The media didn't hold back, and even his coaches were blunt. George Karl flat out said he didn't think Washburn had what it took to be serious about the game. He never came back to the NBA and never tried to. After basketball, he tried to turn things around. He worked in cleaning services and ran a homeless outreach program in Las Vegas. That's where he stayed until he died in 2016 at 51 from a stroke. 72 games, just over 3 points a night, and a cautionary tale that still gets brought up whenever people talk about wasted potential in the league. Eddie Johnson, no, not the broadcaster or the sharpshooter. This is the other one. The guard drafted 49th overall by Atlanta in 1977. He came in hot, dropping over 10 points a game as a rookie and helping the Hawks get back to the playoffs after a long drought. That started a run where they made the postseason in 6 of his 8 full seasons. Johnson earned All-Star nods in 1980 and 1981, even scored 22 points in his first appearance. For a while, he was one of the most electric players in the league, but Johnson's problems didn't start with the NBA. They started way before that. He was already using cocaine in college. In 1979, he passed out at a celebration while at Auburn. That was the first sign, and things only got worse. He was described as stable during the season and totally unpredictable once it ended. By 1980, he was involved in a drug-related shootout, arrested for cocaine possession, checked into a psychiatric facility, checked himself out, then got arrested for stealing a car. All in the same stretch. Charges were dropped, but the chaos never stopped. He was diagnosed with manic depression, but refused to take his prescribed lithium, claiming it made him tired. The Hawks noticed his erratic behavior ramping up again in 1981. He was jumping rope on the sidelines during practice, wandering off to play with kids in the stands, and arguing with teammates. Eventually, they had him committed to a hospital. That same year, they lifted his suspension and got him back on the court. But things weren't normal. Johnson was always right on the edge. In the mid-80s, he got traded to Cleveland, but called that year a waste. He ended up in the Continental Basketball Association, tearing it up for the Tampa Bay Thrillers and earning All-Star MVP. Seattle picked him up at the end of the season, but they literally assigned someone to monitor him off the court. He was volatile, and the team knew it. After failing to follow through on mandatory counseling, the NBA finally suspended him in 1987. He never came back. Johnson's life fell apart after basketball. He racked up around 100 arrests, burglary, battery, assault, drugs, you name it. Then in 2006, it hit rock bottom. He was arrested for sexually assaulting an 8-year-old girl in Florida. He denied the charges, but in 2008, was convicted and sentenced to life without parole. He died in prison at Santa Rosa Correctional Institution. Johnson averaged 15 points over 675 games, but that stat line's buried under the wreckage of what came next.
It's like, I ain't gonna lie, way back in the 80s, 90s, y'all all D. Matter of fact, I gotta move Jonte Porter up. I'm sorry. I gotta leave this nigga down here alone. What's his name? This one. I don't know who he is. Whoever we just watched. Eddie Johnson, he the worst one we done heard all day, gang.
Only shows up now as a tragic warning. John Drew, one of the league's early scoring machines and one of its earliest cautionary tales. Drafted by the Hawks in 1974, Drew jumped into the league and never looked back, at least on the court. He dropped over 20 points per game in 7 different seasons and was a 2-time All-Star. But behind the stats was a battle that eventually ended his NBA career for good. His first brush with trouble came in March of 1983 when he tested positive for cocaine. That was strike one. He wasn't suspended, but he had to check into rehab and missed several games.
Yo, what was coke doing to niggas though? Like, how good was coke? I want to try this shit, gang.
Still, he managed to average almost 19 points that year. Things looked stable, but they weren't. In January of 1984, strike 2 hit. Drew tested positive again and got suspended indefinitely. He entered rehab once more, got reinstated later that season, and played in 81 games. But every return was just a delay, not a fix. Then came January 29, 1985. Playing for the Jazz, Drew tested positive for cocaine a 3rd time. That meant a lifetime ban. He was only 30. He played 11 seasons, 739 games, and averaged over 20 points per night. Just like that, it ended. Drew stayed active in the game, hoping for another chance. He played in the Continental Basketball Association with the Wildcatters and the Spirits, keeping his game sharp. He applied for reinstatement in 1987, but the NBA wasn't convinced. He'd been arrested the year before for passing bad checks, and that didn't exactly help his case. The application was denied. That was it. No more shots. He kept playing in smaller leagues, even overseas in France and Mexico, but he was done at the NBA level. Then in 1989, he got caught selling cocaine to an undercover agent. He served 4. Drew's finances fell apart along with everything else. He lost out on big-time NBA money. He was making around $600,000 with the Jazz when the ban hit, and there could have been a lot more. Minor leagues didn't pay much. He ended up working as a taxi driver in Atlanta and later as a youth coach. He died in 2012 from bone cancer. The league never reinstated him, and he never reapplied. For a guy who once led the NBA in scoring off the bench, there's just trying to finish their college career. In 1978, a pair of small-time Ernie Cobb, Rick Coon, and Jim Sweeney. These names might not ring out like NBA legends, but they're forever etched in league history for a very different reason. Lifetime bans, tied to one of college basketball's most notorious scandals. Back in the summer of 1978, a pair of small-time gamblers from Pittsburgh cooked up a plan to manipulate games at Boston College. Their target, a handful of players who were just trying to finish their college careers. The result, an FBI case, a courtroom drama, and permanent bans from the NBA. Rick Coon, a reserve forward, was the linchpin. He recruited teammates Jim Sweeney and Ernie Cobb. Coon admitted to taking $2,500 per game and even accepted drugs as part of the deal. He played a direct role in fixing 6 games and later went to prison for conspiracy and sports bribery. The NBA ban, not a shot. He orchestrated the whole thing, then tried to fade into anonymity.
Okay. Regular shit. Okay. Damn, well, that's that, bro.